Your dark horse candidate is unfortunately a little bit darker. They are going to be without their starting point guard, Craig Porter, today. More on that from Myron in a moment. Wichita State wins the tip. Anthony Jordan, Vlad Voyard, Tadal, and Sean Cassidy, your Game 2 officiating crew.
And Tulsa coming out in that Frank Haith zone where communication is critical. And they haven't been as good verbally in this zone throughout the season, and it's hurt them.
Morris Udeze, Wichita State's third leading scorer, out to Etienne, their leading scorer. Here's Ricky Council. Into the shot clock, and Council splashes one from Dallas. The American sixth man of the year had to get the start today with Porter out. And your starting lineups brought to you by Air Force Reserve for Tulsa. That is Darien Jackson out there with Haywood. Two great scorers in Griffin and Horn, and the big man Udowu. Wichita State starting five, led by Etienne. Dennis, the American Defensive Player of the Year. Council, the sixth man of the year, again, is starting with Porter out. Udeze and Pleasant. There's Darien Jackson guarded by his high school teammate Joe Pleasant for a moment. He got away with a walk there. Out to Sam Griffin, who misses a three, and Pleasant cleans it up.
Now, Kevin, you brought up a great point with Ricky Council, the fourth now in the starting lineup. Look, he didn't want to be the sixth man. That was not a role that he relished. But he worked his way into it to accept it, became the best sixth man in the conference, and now today he gets the start with Porter not available.
Dennis misses a three, the rebound to Jackson. Tulsa just 4-14 in the American, 0-5 to start conference play. It has been a difficult year all year long for Frank Haith's team, hoping that dramatic finish on senior day will spur them into a good run. There's a three for Horn. He was the hero on Saturday, and he unlocks the scoring today. Jariah Horn, fifth leading scorer, fourth leading rebounder in the league. How he wasn't a part of an all-conference team is mystifying. He has been as important as anybody in this conference this year to their respective team. This is Etienne, who was the preseason player of the year in the American. Out for Council, passed up a three, then took a tougher one, and whipped it out. Pleasant skying, knocking it away, and it's Jackson the other way for Tulsa with a 3-on-3. Jackson is stripped and fouled by Council. Let's check in now with Myron Metcalf.
Yeah, Brian Porter suffered a hip injury on Monday. It was day-to-day. Didn't feel like he was ready to go. Obviously, Tyson Etienne is in right now, but look for Quay Grant, who was a star at West Texas A&M Division II All-American. 13 points last week against Tulsa. They're hoping that he can help them with their depth at that position.
Yeah, they're going to need some more depth, Myron, because this is a Wichita State team that's only played 10 guys all year, and there is Craig Porter Jr., who assists, who scores, who rebounds, who steals, who blocks shots. He just does a little bit of everything, and they will miss a little bit of everything on the court.
He also has a flair for the dramatic in the double overtime game versus Houston. Instead of talking about the full Superman dive from Ramon Walker Jr. that saved that game for the layup for Josh Carlton to win it, we would have been talking about Craig Porter Jr., and it was a gutsy play that was able to take the lead for Wichita State in that situation. That kid made big shot after big shot after big shot. One of the greatest games I've ever been a part of.
One of many close losses for Wichita State this year, which had a flair for the dramatic as a team last year, winning close games, a Cinderella American Conference Championship. Dennis was on the line. That's a backcourt violation forced by the Tulsa trap.
Yeah, Wichita State won the Athletic American Conference regular season a year ago. Why? Because they went 10-3 in games decided by 6 points or less. This year, it's been a totally different story.
This year, 6-7 in those games. The underlying numbers are not that much different than last year, but the close games are. This is Griffin, Tulsa's second leading scorer, unencumbered to the hoop. 7 in a row for Tulsa.
Sam Griffin can be streaky and really good. He's another late game guy to keep an eye on as we come down the stretch. Whoa, that was a dangerous pass.
Wichita State, after an opening three, has missed 3 straight threes and turned it over. Etienne wants a screen from Udeze. 15-point per game scorer, Tyson Etienne with his first 2.
Man, was that strong. I mean, he took a serious bump that was probably a foul going to the basket, but he was able to weather that storm and come through the lightning. Well done by Tyson Etienne.
Etienne, third team all-conference this year, and he does not pick up a steal because there was a foul before the pass. Isaac Brown, the American Coach of the Year a season ago, in his second year at Wichita State. Feels like his team's playing a little bit better down the stretch. The 0-4 start, they're 6-5 against a tough schedule, but now he's without Porter and, for the moment, without Council, who just picked up his second foul. So Quay Grant into the game. Wichita State goes smaller, and Council, we'll see how long Wichita State keeps him on the bench.
Well, keep your eye on number 22, Quay Grant, right there with the basketball. He can be a bulldog guard that can really get to the rim.
13 points against Tulsa last week in 18 minutes in a Wichita State win. Wichita State has swept the season series. They won the first 2, 58-48 and 72-61. Jackson inside, and Darien Jackson scores for Tulsa.
Yeah, Darien Jackson has continued to play well and has gotten even better lately.
Bad pass by Grant and a takeaway for Idowu. Idowu will get it. Mismatch with Etienne. Passes out of it to Jackson, who strokes a 3 for Darien Jackson. A career high in 22 points. He's already got 7.
Now there's that half-court trap again with Wichita State. Really surprised Wichita State here in the opening 4 minutes of this game. Every trap seemed to turn into a turnover for Tulsa, and Darien Jackson is like the Energizer Bunny out there, just getting after it.
Almost had another. Tulsa has certainly looked the more prepared team to begin the game, despite the 4-14 regular season.
Well, the big fellow Kenny Poto right now, number 11 in the game. He can be a zone breaker. He sets a little pick and pop, and when he's open, he can really shoot the basketball.
Bonzi Jackson off the bench for Wichita State as well, which again is without Craig Porter Jr. with a hip injury today. Grant blocked by Jackson, and then Jackson saves it ahead to Haywood. This is Griffin getting a screen from Nikita Konstantinovsky off the bench for Tulsa.
That shot from Jariah Horn to beat UCF, there's carryover from that shot. This team just seems totally more confident than they ever were during the season.
Konstantinovsky muscled up by Poto. Jump ball. Possession arrow to Tulsa, 6 to shoot.
Yeah, Kenny Poto, he just stands his ground. Look how big he makes himself right here. Got the long reach, just builds the fence right there, moves his feet. I mean, that's as good a low post defense as you're going to see.
Griffin off the side of the backboard. Question with Poto is not, can he shoot? We know he can do that. Can he stand up defensively in the post? So far, yes.
He can also set screens with that ball screen up top. That's where I like him the best on the pick and pop series with Tyson Etienne.
Grant inside to Poto. Double team. Poto passed out of it, deflected by Grant to Etienne. And then a rebound to Griffin off the miss. Wichita State shooting it at just 2 for 8, 1 for 5 from 3 against this matchup zone of Tulsa, a zone which has struggled this year. Griffin on the blow by, no, out of bounds to Wichita State. Let's take a look at our Phillips 66 Big 12 men's basketball championship bracket. Ooh. The hometown team here in Fort Worth, TCU, down 18 at the half against Texas, came back to surge into a win. What a victory for the Horned Frogs and Jamie Dixon's crew. They're certainly in the tournament. They might face Kansas for a third time in about a week, as Kansas is up big right now in West Virginia.
Yeah, Raptors right now are thundering through the streets of Fort Worth, Texas. It's a Horned Frog, by the way.
But you yesterday got to hang off the Horned Frog statue.
I did, which was a lot of fun.
TCU today, largest halftime deficit erased by an unranked team to beat a ranked team since 2009. TCU down 18 to a ranked Texas team today.
Well, Jamie Dixon did such a great job at Pitt and came back to TCU, and it's paying dividends as Tyson Etienne knocks it down from downtown.
You think Pitt misses him right now?
Yep, I think they do.
Etienne with 5. the all-conference player for Wichita State. Guarding Jackson now, who leads the way with an early 7. Bullies his way in, and he scores. Darien Jackson at 6'3". It's about as good a post scorer as anybody in the league.
Yeah, he's really a multi-dimensional guard. You can invert him with his back to the basket. He drives well to the basket, and he's had that three-point line game as well. Darien Jackson playing lights out.
Outscoring Wichita State by himself. Here's Grant. Grant elevates. Couldn't get it to go. And it'll be shocker ball.
Darien Jackson, very, very creative. Not as only is he creative in his offensive game, as we see right here, but also a very creative guy with different types of graphics that he develops, things like that. His graphic designs are really incredible. I've asked him to do some things for me. It's been a lot of fun watching him grow as a professional.
There's a jumper for Kenny Poto, and the freshman from Stockholm, Sweden, with a bucket for Wichita State, his first. Seen a lot of Poto in the early going with Udeze on the bench. Davies drained into the game now for Tulsa. This is Idowu back on the floor, facing up the freshman Poto. And Dennis will be called for a reach-in foul from behind.
Graphic designer Darien Jackson, who helped us out on ESPN 1 season ago. Love that kid.
Love the way he plays on the court. Love what he does off it. For his work in the community, he was awarded the American Conference's Sportsmanship Award earlier in the week. And he has led Tulsa right now with 9 points, 4 rebounds, and a block shot. He's got the last 7 for the Golden Hurricane, which have the lead here in the first round of the American tournament.
Well, I certainly hope that Darien Jackson gets an opportunity to play beyond his collegiate years, but every employer out there, if you need a talented and creative graphic designer, you better keep your eye on number 11 in blue of Tulsa, Darien Jackson.
Here's Idowu inside. Oh, that ball decided finally it was going to go down. Ray Idowu getting the type of bounce off the rim that Happy Gilmore would have been happy with.
In red and blue, do make purple, by the way, because I did it with food colors.
Okay.
Just so you know.
Thank you for the specification. I know there were some folks at home worried about it.
Absolutely, because somebody might do it at home, and listen, be careful.
Yeah, do not try this at home, are the instructions.
Yeah.
Bonzi Jackson, the basket for Wichita State. Tulsa breaks the pressure with Idowu. Tim Dowger is into the game for the first time for the Golden Hurricane.
Wichita State now goes zone against Tulsa.
Tulsa without its starting point guard again, Anthony Pritchard, out for the season with a broken foot he suffered against ECU. And Jackson with a steal, and he is fouled by Drain.
You know, Tulsa has had some really good big guys, and Ray Idowu has struggled a little bit to become that go-to guy. Patient right there, takes the bump, right on the rim, sits on the rim. If they can get any kind of production inside from Ray Idowu, that's good news for Tulsa.
Been better the last few weeks. Last 9 games, 10 points, 60% for the field per game. But an up-and-down career at Tulsa for Idowu. Here's Dennis. Jackson fighting as hard as anybody, could only tip it to Tulsa. Bonzi Jackson, that is, for Wichita State.
Idowu very active, got the defensive rebound, now goes to work inside.
Good position on Poto, and he scores.
Martins Igbanu-like inside.
Idowu with the last 2 buckets. Sterling Gaston Chapman in the game now for Tulsa. Freshman on the ball, number 3. Etienne into a lot of traffic. Poto had it, and Poto got fouled.
Kevin, remember how efficient Martins Igbanu was? He just made simple plays. He caught everything, and he was a quick decision maker. We just saw that from Ray Idowu as he went in just strong with a quick decision to the rim.
Second-year Tulsa player from Illinois State, Idowu.
You do remember Martins Igbanu?
Yeah, I remember Martins Igbanu. Yeah. I've been here.
I asked you a question, you didn't respond.
What was the question?
Do you remember Martins Igbanu?
I thought you said you remember Martins Igbanu. Like
Okay.
it was a statement.
We'll replay it and see. Okay, we'll go to the monitor.
God, no. We've had enough of that this week in college basketball. No more fights in the stands. No more monitor reviews. That's all I ask. I got the baseball season back. Now all I want.
Congratulations.
Now all I want is an erasure of monitor reviews. Here's Gaston Chapman, and he bricks a three.
Boy, as soon as Tyson Etienne catches the ball, you can hear the defenders screaming, you got to get him.
Got it there off the miss, and he feeds Dennis. Dexter Dennis will go to the line for Wichita State, which is still having trouble solving this Tulsa zone, but getting a couple of offensive rebounds.
Yeah, Etienne, look, everybody responds. See how the three defenders move toward him as soon as he catches the basketball? They obviously are very much focused on Tyson Etienne. Before we go too long, I want to congratulate you.
What did I do?
Baseball season will now be starting up. You are now the full-time television voice of the Baltimore Orioles.
That's true, I did do that.
And for a guy like me, who's a big baseball fan and remembers all the glory years of the Baltimore Orioles, and I'm being serious, to sit next to you and know that you're going to be the voice of the Baltimore Orioles, that's like the coolest thing ever. So I'm happy for you, I'm proud of you, and I expect tickets.
Thank you, and please talk to my agent.
No, I'm so thrilled for you.
Thank you. I'm just thrilled.
You've earned it.
I'm thrilled that anybody's going to talk about baseball at all this year with opening day about a month away. Here is Jackson underneath the arms of Dexter Dennis. It's the Darien Jackson show in Texas.
Now, Dexter Dennis is only the best defensive player in the conference. Darien Jackson just used him.
12-2 in the paint right now, the advantage for Tulsa, and a lot of that from Jackson, who shoots 62% from two-point range, the 6'3" player. There's Udeze, and finally another bucket of the paint comes for Wichita State.
That's who Frank Haith was most concerned about coming into this game, was Morris Udeze and his strength inside.
He's only played 6 minutes, and it's his first shot attempt and first bucket. Here's the super senior Jackson. That ball's poked away and taken by Etienne. Chauncey Jenkins leaks out and finishes with ferocity. And Frank Haith calls timeout.
Wichita State on a run. Couldn't get things going offensively for a while, but now they got it going on high octane. Chauncey Jenkins rises. Craig Porter Jr. out, somebody else got to rise. Jenkins just did.
The American Conference Air Force Reserve Championship bracket. Cincinnati beating East Carolina in the first game. They will face Houston in tomorrow's first quarterfinal. Temple, Tulane, the two most surprising teams in the league after that. SMU awaits the winner of this game, and then UCF South Florida coming tonight at 7 Eastern, 6 Central.
Guess who has won the most American Athletic Conference tournament championships?
Cincinnati's won 2 and SMU's won 2.
I'm waiting for the graphic.
There's the graphic.
There we go.
These are tournament bids, so you...
Tournament bids, that's right. That's right. Tournament bids.
Cincinnati was 6, so you were wrong about that. Okay. Now for something completely different, here's Myron.
Looked at everyone in the huddle, said, listen, you guys got to be tough. He said, if we're going to win this game, he needs everyone to play tougher, be smarter. That can't be solved after that big Wichita State run. So that was kind of the mood and the vibe in that huddle during that timeout.
And Myron, this Tulsa team has struggled this year. Frank Haith has cited a lack of trust between teammates and staff because of the recruiting restrictions with COVID. Tulsa picked to finish 7th in the American. They finish in 10th. Can they find something positive to go into the offseason? Have had the lead most of this game, but are struggling mightily now as Haywood misses badly. Inside to Udeze, nobody's guarding him, and that was a mistake, and then he missed the layup. On the floor, belly flop to get it back. And a tie-up will stay with Wichita State. Oh, my. Well, Frank Haith, 8th season at Tulsa, had a lot of success early, not a lot of success late, and Folks around Tulsa have wondered what the future of the program is. Lowest attendance ever at the Reynolds Center this year, less than 3,000 fans per game. Most conference losses in any season, year 8 for Frank Haith. And you wonder if this conference tournament mark is going to impact whether or not Frank Haith is back and what is the future of this Tulsa team.
Well, he won a share of the conference championship in 2020, and that was only 2 years ago. He's always finished better than what he's been picked for the most part throughout his time at Tulsa. So if I'm the athletic director, I'm going to be patient with the guy. I think this is a blip on the screen for Frank Haith. I don't think this is a trend. I mean, just 2 seasons ago, they're regular season champions.
I believe this was the first time in his 8 years Tulsa would finish worse than their preseason pick. 10th place out of 11 in the league. And that's an offensive foul against Idowu. Saw that one coming, and it is his second.
A lot of banging going on, getting physical inside, and Morris Udeze knows that Idowu likes to go over that left shoulder and just set him up for it. When you bang a guy once and take him off his defensive position, there's a pretty good chance that if you take him down twice, they're going to call it.
So Udowu's out of the game. Konstantinovsky returns. Here's Grant out to Etienne. A 3 for a Wichita State lead.
Yeah, Tyson Etienne has taken his game to another level over the last 11 games now, 10 plus.
Has scored or assisted 6 of the 8 Wichita State baskets. He has scored 8 points on a couple of threes. Horn tied up. Jackson kept it alive, and Jackson scores again. The way he works angles mark at his height, I don't know if there's anybody in this conference like it.
He drew 3 white jerseys to the ball and still found a way to get it to the rim balanced.
Darien Jackson with 13 of Tulsa's 22. He's more than halfway to the career high, which he set on Saturday. Grant has the mismatch. Konstantinovsky to the floor, and a foul is called there.
Yeah, Tyson Etienne, such a good catch and shoot guy, always balanced, really good shot preparation all the time. Then Darien, look, he draws 3 white jerseys, stays balanced, comes underneath, and just splits everybody.
Frank Haith has said he is what I want all college basketball players to be. He got better every year, his 5th year here. He said it's a microwave society, and you don't get kids to develop the way Darien Jackson has. 6th man of the year a season ago. Big-time starter most of this year. Horn. Wide first half for him. Konstantinovsky cleans up the miss. Horn got Pleasant draped on him. Konstantinovsky off the bounce. 5 to shoot. Uriah Horn. Oh, my goodness. That's a gimme considering where he hit it from half court on Saturday.
Wichita State has been a lot better against this zone. Grant just loves to put the ball on the ground and go after it.
Dennis from Pleasant down the lane, and Konstantinovsky went straight up.
Horn wants it again. I'd give it to him. There he is.
Against the defensive player of the year in the conference. Held him to 1 for 11 shooting a couple of weeks ago. A great find, and a foul drawn by Konstantinovsky. A foul that was drawn because of the Horn pass.
With Uriah Horn reads defense as well. He looks over his shoulder with his back to the basket. He can cut. And just a really, really good offensive threat off the catch and shoot from inside out. I mean, he hit that big shot, and that one was from way downtown. Hit that shot from behind half court to beat UCF. Uriah Horn playing at a different level right now.
I feel like I misread the all-conference teams. Was he not on one of those teams?
He was not on any of them.
You sure about that? Because I double-checked and triple-checked and quadruple-checked. Uriah Horn, 5th in the league in scoring, 4th in rebounds, 2nd in defensive rebounds, 2nd in free throw percentage, leads Tulsa in scoring, rebounding, block steals, three-point free throw starts, and minutes played. So I know I'm not a coach here, but I'm not sure what I'm missing. I don't care if Tulsa went 4-14. Darien Horn's one of the 10, 12 best players in this league, at least, maybe better than that.
Yeah.
It's a cool story for Dry to come back to Tulsa. Nebraska first season, 3 years at Tulsa, one of those a redshirt. It's the first grad transfer Tad Boyle ever accepted at Colorado. Played a big part in the Buffalo season last year when they went to the NCAAs as a 5 seed and decided to come back. Frank Hates said, we handled it right when he left. I wasn't angry. He graduated. He wanted to experience something different. And then he came back and had that special moment on Saturday. Here's a steal for his teammate Griffin. Good finish for Griffin. The juggle through the contact. He scores. And he can give Tulsa an 8-point lead at the line.
Yeah, Griffin, one of those explosive freshmen, steps in the passing lane, really anticipates well. If Quay Grant dives right there, that doesn't turn into a foul. That doesn't turn into 2 points. Got to get down and dirty for that one.
Got to play angry.
Even if you're down the floor, you foul him. Doesn't matter. At least he doesn't get the deuce on the 3-point play opportunity.
9-0 Tulsa run after Wichita State had briefly reclaimed the lead. Ricky Council's back in the game with those 2 fouls for Isaac Brown. Poto. 4 bench players in there for Wichita State, and Isaac Brown's team still cannot find answers. 8 for 25 from the field.
Tulsa just continues to attack, and they got go-to guys. I mean, between Darien Horn, Sam Griffin, Darien Jackson.
Griffin in the dying embers of the shot clock. Missed a deep one. It'll stay with Tulsa when we return.
Something that has actually earned money to share with charities, both in New York City and in Wichita. This kid has done so many things off the floor. The NIL, a lot of people thought that was a bad thing. Tyson Etienne has turned that into a charitable endeavor. And this is going to be a talented young guy that's going to be very successful regardless of what he does, basketball or otherwise.
It's a good reminder that NIL isn't just about the richer schools getting richer in certain cases. It can really enhance athletes, not just in basketball, but in a lot of the other sports, the so-called non-revenue sports, the lower revenue sports. Etienne has used his talents on and off the court well. He's got a team-high 8 right now. Wichita State snaps a 9-0 run with a 3 from Quay Grant.
Quay Grant can get it going. He's got a little microwave in his game, and they need him today without Craig Porter Jr.
Porter again out with a right hip issue, and that one is caught in the Wichita State broadcast position.
Bob Hall with the good hands right there. Excellent play. He was shot ready.
Bob Hall is part of the longtime Wichita State radio crew with Mike Kennedy and Dave Dahl. All 3 get together for the conference tournament. Good thing they had Bob to protect them. Radio announcer and security guard. Grant again. Rebound for Poto, and Konstantinovsky sends it back. Etienne missed a 3, and Konstantinovsky got knocked down by his own teammate. He hit Jackson on the shoulder, I think. Frank Haith wants a foul, but I think Konstantinovsky just hit his own teammate and went down.
Yeah, Konstantinovsky is playing at such a high level energy-wise right now, and there's a reason for that. I mean, this kid is really getting after it.
Young man Konstantinovsky, you see him pointing to himself, my fault. He's going to check out of the game right now. You mentioned the energy level. One of 7 men's basketball players from Ukraine. And obviously been an awful, harrowing couple of weeks for him. We'll get into that story later, but he takes a seat right now for Tulsa, playing with an extra bit of emotion the last couple of weeks. A steal for Jackson. Tulsa's got it with the lead. Under 2 to play in this second of 3 first-round games. Jackson's been the man in the first half. Inside to Horn. Etienne switched onto him, and Horn's going to love every second of that switch.
Well, Darien Jackson just recognized that Horn had a mismatch inside. Really smart basketball. I mean, Darien Jackson not only making baskets, but making winning plays.
One minute in the first half. Etienne into all kinds of traffic. Had Poto, his teammate, in his way. Jackson spinning out of control. He travels. It has been a slog through the mud for Wichita State against this matchup zone.
Well, Darien Jackson just recognized the mismatch as he gets it. He's in trouble here, but he sees one. Look how Horn just moves Tyson Etienne with his left foot and his left shoulder into the lane and knows he's got that mismatch.
Jackson and Horn have 21 of the 31 right now for Tulsa. They've also picked up 3 assists combined. Here's Griffin for 3.
This all started with the half-court heave from Jariah Horn to beat UCF, and that momentum is carrying into Fort Worth today.
Largest lead for Tulsa. No Porter for the game. No Council most of the half with the fouls. Wichita State has shot just 31%. Etienne had Horn on him. Etienne leaning in, couldn't finish. How about another half-court heave for Tulsa? Jackson won't get it off in time. Simply one of the best first halves, one of the best halves, period. As we check in with Myron.
Surprise, surprise, fellas. Coach Brown said these guys got to play better defense. Obviously staying in front of Jackson. He said he feels like they're settling for threes on offense, not taking smart shots. He wants them to clean things up.
For 30 in the first half as Udeze pokes it out of bounds. It was a pretty lethargic 20 minutes, Mark, for Wichita State.
It wasn't lethargic, though, for Darien Jackson with 13 points, 5 rebounds, 2 assists. He's been better than sardines from Sardinia. That's how good he's been.
Good transition. You ever had sardines from Sardinia?
I have not, but I heard about him last night.
Rumors were flying at the dinner table among bites of swordfish. Here's Griffin. And he missed the 3. Udeze got tangled up with Idowu. That is a foul against Idowu. Late call by Sean Cassidy. 3rd foul on Idowu. Frank Haith's going to leave him in with the 3 fouls. Boy, I don't know if body language means anything in this circumstance. I don't know. Maybe we're making a lot of it. Maybe we're making a lot out of nothing. The way Tulsa ran out of the locker room, the way Wichita State kind of slinked out of the locker room, I'd be worried in the first couple of minutes if I were a shocker. Council lost it on the way up. I don't want to play body language doctor here, but Wichita State did not look like a motivated bunch coming out of the tunnel.
Konstantinovsky really led his team out of the locker room as we took a look at Ricky Council, the 4th right there, getting denied the opportunity to score. But they're running out. I mean, you can tell they're excited to play this half. And Wichita State sort of meandered onto the floor.
There's Jariah Horn. Step back on Council. Etienne ends up with a rebound. Shockers 6-5 after an 0-4 start in the conference. They've won 2 in a row, but they have been absolutely dominated down low today as Udeze has ripped away 6 points in the paint against the interior of this Tulsa zone.
Udeze put the ball on the floor. 3 blue jerseys swarm the ball. You've got to kick it out in that situation.
Jackson 3, no good. Council, Wichita State cleaning up on the defensive glass to start, and then Council throws a crazy pass. If you were hoping Wichita State would be, I don't know, a little bit sharper, a little bit keener to begin the second half, that's not been the case. 3 possessions, 3 turnovers.
Oh, this ball's going to go out of bounds. Jariah Horn didn't even know it was thrown in.
Would you like to start the second half now, Mark?
All right, here we go.
Maybe this will be the possession that unlocks the intensity. Griffin, step back. It will. A
That's
three
tough.
for Sam Griffin.
When Joe Pleasant was right in his grill, it didn't stop Sam Griffin.
Just 10 for 43 in the last 4 games for Griffin. 8 points per game only in that stretch. He's already got 11. Council. And a good look in the middle of the zone. Horn with the Tulsa rebound. And Quay Grant is immediately to the scorer's table. Wichita State without Craig Porter. Hurt his hip in practice on Monday. Not playing through it in this game. That's right to Etienne. He didn't catch it. It went back to Jackson, who does what he's been doing all game.
That was an assist from Etienne. Crazy play.
Darien Jackson with 15. Etienne into traffic, hesitant with the ball. Council ends up with it. Council with an ugly finish. Another rebound for Horn, and Wichita State is 0 for 3 with 3 turnovers in a half.
Well, this has just been woeful offense from Wichita State to start this second half. Tulsa has mixed and matched defense, and Wichita State just looks confused since the beginning of the half.
And you're right. Let's give Tulsa a lot of credit for that, as Griffin misses on a 3 short. Wichita State has not played well, but Tulsa has, and they have a lot to do with that. Etienne into trouble. Timeout call.
And frankly, right now, Wichita State hasn't done anything to create much excitement. They've just really, really struggled. And give Tulsa all the credit. Defensively, they've been downright stingy, well prepared, switching up defenses from half-court traps to in their zone defense.
Grant spinning, got it on the rim and scored the first bucket of the half, ending a 19-3 Tulsa run. First points in more than 5 minutes of game action for Wichita State. As they try to force some pressure against Haywood, they cannot get the ball away. Konstantinovsky back on the floor, replacing Ido, who has the 3 fouls.
Well, between Sam Griffin, and there's what he painted his shoes for him in the colors of his native country of Ukraine. And speaking as an Army father, rarely do Americans come together and support anything in unison. But I think we can all agree to support this young man and support the bravery of Ukraine that's fighting for freedom right now.
Very well said. And the folks around Tulsa tell you there's been a little bit more of an edge to Nikita's game the last couple of weeks. He is certainly making his friends and family members here and at home proud of the effort he's displayed. His Tulsa team leads by 14 now as Horn splits the free throws. 15:44 away from a quarterfinal date with SMU.
Now Tulsa back in that zone. With Dryhorn doing a really good job as a traffic cop in this zone, constantly pointing, talking. That's the communication that Frank Haith wants.
And Council is fouled on the way up. Konstantinovsky picks up the personal. He is second. Shout out to Frank Haith for his sartorial choices today. Most coaches this year have ditched the suit and shirt look in favor of a more casual wear. Nothing wrong with that. But when you wear a suit, it just makes you look sharp by comparison.
Well, one thing I know about recruiting, it's about differentiating yourself. And so when everybody goes one way, you're better off going the other way.
Free throws for Council. Wichita State down a dozen. Do the Shockers have some life in them? They have made 11 consecutive.
10 seconds. That's 10 seconds.
Semis.
Boy,
They
they
didn't
just
get
got it off. I'm not sure they got it across.
I'm not sure either, but they got lucky. They're just saying 11 straight semifinals Wichita State's been to a conference tournament. They're going to have to win 2 games to get there this year, and they're a long way away from 1. Jackson around Udeze. Jackson will go to the line with 2 to shoot. He got it off and got the foul.
Darien Jackson's like a snake. Just slithers to the basket. How many times have we seen him split defenders today and get shots off? Mostly make them.
I'd say about 6.
That's a good answer. See, that was a question.
I have to answer your questions now. I've learned nothing is rhetorical with you. Here's the New York Life ACC tournament bracket. Miami at the buzzer, ending the Boston College Cinderella run after 2 wins. Duke and Miami in the semifinals tomorrow. Interesting games tonight. Mark, Notre Dame, Virginia Tech, which also won at the buzzer last night, VTech, and then North Carolina and UVA, the 2 Virginia-based teams squarely on the bubble.
The Boston College Bob Wischusen's go down today.
Oh, the
He's
fighting
dying.
shoes.
The fighting Wischusen's. He was so excited with that win and their run.
There's Council for 2. Now, both of your broadcast partners this week had their alma maters lose in the ACC tournament today. How about that? You working with anybody in the nightcap who went to Notre Dame?
Nope. I'm going to dinner with you,
That's
Parks.
right.
That's what we're doing. Burgers or something tonight. I can't afford what we did last time.
Haywood, left-handed finish. First points for Curtis Haywood. Grant for 3.
Boy, that's a forced shot.
And Udeze's fouled on the way up. That's going to be a foul against Jackson, only his first. And free throws coming for Morris Udeze.
Tulsa came into this game with Udeze clearly in their sights defensively. So far, Udeze 1 for 4 with 2 points, 3 rebounds. Tulsa's done a great job against the big fella who has been normally productive against Tulsa.
You know, Udeze last Wednesday when these teams played, he drew 11 Tulsa fouls, was 9 of 9 at the free throw line. He's only drawn 3 fouls in this game, and that was his first free throw attempt.
What he has drawn is a lot of defensive help. Every time he's caught the ball in the paint, there have been extra jerseys coming down to dig the basketball right out of his hands.
And he is not typically a good passer, a big assist man. He doesn't have any today. Well, Tulsa has played that paint game well. Udeze does get the 2 here to cut the lead back to 11, and Wichita State will pressure. Horn gets it across himself.
But here's where they got to make a stop. They got to stop the big 3 of Tulsa. And there's one of them right there, Darien Jackson, slithering to the basket.
Oh, he dove, wasn't ready for the catch. It went right out to Horn, and he drains a 3. Sometimes it's better to be lucky than good.
That's 5 points that have come deflections off of Wichita State defenders. 5 points. Darien Jackson with the layup, and then that time, Horn from 3.
Horn 3 for 3 from deep today. Council, very difficult shot. Griffin.
He draws 2 defenders, didn't give it up quick enough.
We'll have another chance. Dennis is on him. Double team comes. It's Idowu. It's off the glass. It's a rebound to Horn and a stick back for the super senior. They are stomping all over the court right now.
The player of the year, but Dry Horn certainly a guy that deserved better than what he got when it came to all-conference selection.
Horn and Jackson have combined for 30. Wichita State's entire roster has combined for 32. Dennis drains a 3 off the fine from Etienne.
And now the full court pressure for Wichita State, where they've got to create some offense from defense now. A lot of time though.
Tulsa, by the way, doing this all without its starting point guard Anthony Pritchard, who broke his foot a couple of games ago. Still had 10 assists on 18 made field goals. Horn inside, hangs. Rebound to Council.
Opportunity knocks for the Wichita State Shockers.
Etienne's going to try to do it himself. Haywood ties him up. What a stand that was by Haywood. He was CF, the #1 seed.
Watched UCF yesterday. They had 4 players in double figures, including Brittany Smith, who went for 13 points, 5 rebounds. That's a really good UCF team that knocked off SMU 61-28 in the semifinals.
That's 28 points in a full game right there.
Yep.
There's a good UCF team looking for a championship tonight. Here's Grant, end of the shot clock. Grant leans in. No. Udeze an offensive rebound. Who's it going to be down the stretch for Wichita State? Etienne 3 for 11. Council is 2 for 7. Grant with the bump. Maybe it'll be him.
You got to start somewhere, and you might as well start now. And Quay Grant, we talked about that bulldog ability to get to the rim, 2-foot jump stop, balanced. He's a Mack truck going downhill. Strength from Quay Grant.
Wichita State with only 12 points in the paint today after that make. Tulsa has 24. Grant trying to complete the 3-point play. The DeSoto, Texas native. He will do just that.
Here comes the full court trapping pressure.
Drained to Horn. Tulsa breaks it. And it led to a good look for Horn, who couldn't finish it. Jackson on the deck ahead to Dennis.
Wichita State got the result they wanted, a quick shot and a miss.
Where do you look?
Well, Grant's been hunting. Tyson Etienne would be my guy. Etienne just came to the ball, give it to him.
Grant instead slipping. Jackson 3, short, didn't hit the iron. And then Darien Jackson was fouled by Grant. Second foul, Quay Grant. Third foul mark against Quay Grant.
Sometimes you need to know who your best player is, and that was a situation for Tyson Etienne at least to get a touch. Never saw the ball.
That may be where you miss Craig Porter Jr.
Yeah. And they've missed him a lot today. I mean, let's be fair. Craig Porter Jr. has made so many big plays coming down the stretch, and now he's not available tonight because of injury, and Wichita State looks like they miss him a lot.
Didn't feel like he'd be able to play through that right hip injury he suffered in practice Monday. And Udeze picks up his second foul, sending Idowu to the line.
I mean, Craig Porter Jr. was making big plays for Wichita State. Not just the simple plays, but the complexity of his offense, of banging threes, taking the ball to the rim, finding open teammates. He did a lot for this team coming down the stretch, and was part of their improvement.
Not dressed today, Porter. The word is that he is day-to-day. So conceivably, if Wichita State won, he could play tomorrow. We're still a long way away from conceivably. 10-point game, 10:19 to go. 2 free throws missed by Idowu. He was a 68% shooter, and then a foul on Haywood.
You know, but Kevin, when we talk about the importance of Craig Porter Jr. against East Carolina, went for 15 points, 10 rebounds, 4 assists, 1 steal, 2 blocks. Against against Houston, 17 points, 4 rebounds, 4 assists, 2 steals, 2 blocks. You're going to miss a guy like that.
Grant has played most of the minutes in his stead. And what's been a tough year for him, he has had some better games down the stretch. They're still not getting the ball to Etienne. But Dennis will take care of that possession and cut the lead to single digits.
There's a heartbeat in Wichita.
8-0 run for the Shockers. Horn. Inside, Idowu drew the contact, can't finish. Jackson ties him up in a jump ball. It will stay with Tulsa after a physical play from Monzie Jackson.
Yeah, Wichita State is now responding. It's Dexter Dennis, a leader on this team. Establishes that left pivot foot. No walk, and gets away with it. And here we go.
Griffin just missed a 3 off the inbound. Jackson on the deck. Haywood kept it. Haywood inside. That is a travel.
That is a walk.
Now, Myron, a few minutes ago, had mentioned the dead Shocker crowd. The building's starting to get a little bit warmer now.
Yeah, this is becoming more roundhouse-like right now. Smaller, but still active in these stands in Fort Worth. And I've seen this crowd lift this team to many, many victories.
The last time Wichita State did not win a game at a conference tournament, 2008. Trying to get at least one today. Grant, not close. Ping-pongs to Horn. Here's Griffin, clean look. Jackson is there for the putback.
4-point turnaround. Forced shot versus effort shot and make by Darien Jackson.
He set a career-high Saturday with 22 in his 126th game. In number 127, he's only 4 points away. Etienne blocked by Jackson. Etienne tries to get it back, and we'll get a foul as Etienne was reaching around. Darien Jackson is doing it on both ends for Tulsa.
Darien Jackson doing Darien Jackson things. Just hustle plays. He wants it, he gets it, he sticks it. And on the opposite end, loose ball time. Darien Jackson again just goes up and gets it. First to the floor, Ray Idowu goes down first. The tie-up, Tulsa ball.
Tulsa's got 8 blocks in the game. Jackson, one of 4 players with 2, but they turn it over here. Grant, who nearly double dribbled with it. Gets it to Etienne. The co-player of the year in the American a season ago. Off to Council, and he walked.
Well, you've got to have a short memory if you're Wichita State right now. Ricky Council IV has to put that in the back of his mind and just go now. Because now it's about defense and creating turnovers for Isaac Brown.
That's about as mad as IB will get. Jackson, good cut. Off the fine from Griffin. He saw Idowu the whole way. And Idowu draws a foul.
You've seen it, Kevin. Every time Darien Jackson starts getting into the paint, you can see him looking over his shoulder, seeing where his options will play out throughout the play. He really sees the floor well.
It's a 3rd foul on Tyson Etienne. 1-and-1 for Idowu, who just missed a pair of free throws. Tulsa 6 for 11 at the line in the game. And Idowu gets the front end.
Well, when Ray Idowu goes, Tulsa goes. When they're not a donut team, they got a little filling inside from Ray Idowu. That's when this team plays well.
1 for 2. Rebound Grant. Tulsa 17 points off turnovers now to Wichita State's 5. Shockers have turned it over only 8 times. Tulsa's made almost every one of them pay. Council, and Council's going to go to the line. Bump against Haywood, and Council will shoot 2.
Jackson has a clever offensive repertoire. He's turned himself into a dangerous 3-point shooter. That's just been by repetition and hard work. Defensively, gets his hands on the ball. He slithers, he slides to the rim. I mean, this guy, when he puts the ball on the floor, he's just able to somehow squirm his way to make shots. So I have a question for you, Kevin Brown. If he were in any of the houses of Hogwarts, Harry Potter, would he be more likely in Gryffindor, Hufflepuff, Ravenclaw, or Slytherin?
Do you know the answer to this? Is that why you're asking me? Have you asked Darien what Hogwarts house he's in?
No, because of the way that he plays.
I mean, clearly a Gryffindor. He plays with courage. He plays above his size.
Slytherin.
Mark, do you know what Slytherin house is?
I know that they slither and slide.
Mark, you should really read Harry Potter sometime. He's the sportsmanship award winner in the conference. All of the evil people go to Slytherin. Your logic makes no sense.
You gotta find good in some of them. There's good in some of them.
Yeah, but the good in him is
Slither
easily
and
apparent.
slide doesn't make it.
Idowu. No. I mean, yes, off the Jackson, no. I'm completely fouled off because of Harry Potter nonsense. Oh, my God.
Okay, here we go.
All right. Let's all settle down. Council. Rebound collected by Kenny Poto. Grant in the corner of three.
It's a big shot.
That's a Ravenclaw shot right there. Griffin has run the show for most of this game, with Tulsa's point guard Pritchard done for the year. He'll have it again with a dozen to shoot. Griffin into Idowu. Rebound Council.
Well, Idowu's had some point-blank shots, not able to finish. It's keeping the door open for Wichita State.
It's 3 for 6 from the field and 1 of 4 from the line. Those 3 looks have been pretty good from the field. Wichita State can make this a 2-possession game for the first time in a while. Council, blocking foul is called on Idowu, and that's going to be Ray Idowu's 4th foul.
Watch Quay Grant. Watch him move without the basketball. Ball goes inside. He moves to the open space. And then he keeps moving. Whenever you get an offensive rebound, don't stand and watch. Move to an open space. Quay Grant moves to the open spot, knocks down the 3 ball. Good offensive rebounding by Poto and company.
And Council hits a free throw. 84% free throw shooter, Ricky Council. Poto and company will exit the game. Poto and Jackson specifically. Dennis and Udeze are back in. Isaac Brown, for the moment at least, is going to roll with the vets here with 6:06 potentially to play in his season.
Remember, both of these teams have struggled in close games. Somebody's got to win it today.
Council 6 of 6 at the free throw line here in the second half. More pressure from Wichita State, which hasn't done much with that pressure. Grant gets a deflection here. And it gets back to Idowu off the deflection from Council.
Boy, I could count at least 3 deflections that have gone right to Tulsa players.
Horn misses. Jackson called for a foul. That was a late whistle by Anthony Jordan. Jackson thought he had it, and the whistle came very late. Second foul on Jackson.
Well, this is what sets coaches off. And I don't know if it was a foul or not, but when the off official makes this call, look like a 50-50 ball right there, that's what gets Frank Haith so upset, because there's an official right there in front of him, right next to him. Darien Jackson doesn't like the call.
I think he's right not to like the call based on what we saw. So 1-1 for Dennis. And Wichita State is now 10 for 10 at the line here in the second half. They are a great free throw shooting team, on pace to break the Wichita State record, which was 74.8%. Came into the game at 75.0%. And Dennis with the first Wichita State miss of the second half. It's a 5-point game.
Yeah, and that miss means Wichita State not able to set their full court defense, but they're in scramble mode and trapping here in the half court. Much more energy from Wichita State the last 7 minutes of this game.
Horn, back cut. Got it to Haywood with a bobble. Idowu, not a clean catch. Idowu throws it out to Jackson. Darien Jackson got it on the rim, and that resets the shot clock for Idowu on the offensive rebound.
This is getting interesting. Wichita State is now battling.
Griffin, short.
You got to wonder if Tulsa's feeling footsteps. Look, this team has not been successful this year. They've lost a lot of close games.
Etienne off his own turnover has to foul Griffin. That is a tough possession to give away as Etienne walks it off behind the basket. And Etienne just picked up his 4th foul. I mean, without Porter in the game, I know Etienne hasn't been the scorer he often is, 3 for 12, but with the 5 assists, with what he does to defenses, state the obvious, he cannot foul out of this game for Wichita State. And Griffin hits the first. If you're an American Conference fan, don't forget to sign up at ESPNplus.com/AAC. Spring sports coverage, more than 100 softball games, nearly 200 baseball games, women's lacrosse as well. It's all available at ESPNplus.com/AAC. Big miss there for Griffin, 84.5% free throw shooter, only 1 for 2.
Watch for Udeze on the offensive glass. Keep an eye on him. He's getting position.
Oh, Council! Step back, flat-footed 3. It's a 1-possession game. Wichita State with a foul in the backcourt, nearly had a takeaway. You see how they've struggled in close games all season long, Mark. They are in another one. They have cut a 16-point deficit down to 3.
Last season, this is why Wichita State won the American Athletic Conference regular season. And now those close games have come back to haunt Wichita State this season. Tulsa has also manufactured some losses in close game situations.
Griffin to the line, 1-1. Rolls in the first.
Yeah, you almost feel like right now Tulsa is holding on and Wichita State is attacking.
Shockers had gotten this game as close as it had been since 6:15 to the first half. Griffin makes it a 5-point game again with the free throws.
Well, Council can get it going in bunches. Number 4 in white for Wichita State.
11 of his 14 in the second half. Etienne hasn't scored in the second half. And he still has it, but Council crashes. Council finishes, and the lead is back to 3. Tulsa's going to get this over. They do with Griffin with about a 1.5 seconds to spare. Griffin for 3. Yes, indeed. Sam Griffin a triple.
Gutsy play by the freshman.
17 for the Texas Arlington transfer. And a foul against Tulsa, I believe.
No, I believe there's blood.
13 of his 16 points have come in this half. For the first time these teams played, he got all 11 of his points in the second half. Feeds Dennis. Good luck, missed a 3. That would have made it a 3-point game. Instead, Jackson with a Tulsa rebound.
Good look, though, coming out of the timeout.
Jackson with 18, Griffin 17, Horn 14, and Tulsa turns it over. Myron, what you got?
Both huddles, fellas. Tulsa, everybody was excited. They were talking to each other. There was a lot of energy in that huddle. Wichita State, silence, quiet, guys looking around, maybe even seeming confused. Different energies between the two teams right now.
Yeah, that was the case out of the locker room, and Tulsa jumped out to a big lead, Myron, but we'll see if Wichita State's quiet turns into intensity on the court as Council was stripped on the way up. Jackson full head of steam. Grant's got 4 fouls. Didn't want to foul out of the game, and that means Darien Jackson has an easy layup. Too shy of a career high for Jackson, the career high which he set in Tulsa's last game. Dennis, another good look, another miss, another rebound to Jackson.
Where Darien Jackson just always around the ball. He just has a great nose for the ball.
And that's a double-double, 20 points, 10 rebounds for Jackson. The super senior doesn't want his career to end right now. Haywood, no. Into traffic, and Dowu throws it up and in.
Every time there's been a deflection or a loose ball, it seems to find a blue jersey, and often it's Darien Jackson. Quay Grant can't foul in that situation, and now it goes up. Who wants it? Who wants it? Ray Idowu. 4 white jerseys again surrounding. Ray Idowu comes up with the basketball and the deuce.
Morris Udeze's 3rd foul to add to the mounting foul trouble for Wichita State. This was a 3-point game not too long ago, and the lead is 10 right now for Tulsa as Idowu misses. Etienne. He has still not scored in the second half. Taken away by Dennis, and the Shockers get it back. Kenny Poto's in the game right now for his 3-point marksmanship. Etienne, tough shot, and he finally gets his second half bucket. Horn. They take it right into Poto. Horn off the glass a couple of times, and he gets it to go.
Boy, that works out, but Jariah Horn just put the team on his shoulders and said, I'm going to make a play, and he did.
Etienne is fouled.
And Jariah Horn took a calculated risk there. The other calculation could have been bring it out, use some clock. But he decides to go against 2 defenders, and somehow it works out. Strength. Jariah Horn.
A super duper senior in his 6th year. 2nd go round at Tulsa. Once again, sinks the first free throw. Griffin's played well, no doubt. But it's really been the seniors in their 5th and 6th years respectively. Those 2 right there, Jackson and Horn, that have carried this Tulsa team possibly into another day and a matchup with SMU tomorrow night. They've got 1:05 to go to try to close it out.
Uh-oh.
And another deflection goes Tulsa's way, and Horn is not going to flush it. There was a foul on Idowu beforehand. That's a good foul by Wichita State. It sends Idowu to the line instead of giving Horn a free dunk. And Poto picked it up. 2 free throws for Idowu.
Yeah, this is a heads-up play. This isn't a deflection. That's literally a punch.
Oh, Jackson.
Ryan Horn. Yeah, Darien Jackson just punched it to him.
I did not catch that live. I thought that ball just
Watch this. He sees it. He knows he's in trouble with Quay Grant time. He punches it right in stride to Jariah Horn. How good is Darien Jackson? Holy Toledo, has he been good.
I can't believe this is the same kid we watched 4 years ago.
Yeah.
Had no offensive game, played hard, defended, but just limited so much offensively. Even a couple of months ago, he had a game at Memphis. They left him open every possession for 3, and 2 months later, you can't even do that. He impacts the game in so many ways, and he picks up the first double-double of his career. At the end of the rim, and he finishes. Wichita State only has 1 timeout. They won't use it there. Dangerous pass here. Wichita State tried to save it, and all Grant ended up doing was knocking over the French fries next to our statistician, J.D. Hamilton.
Well, there's still a lot of time. 50 seconds, down 7. All you need is 1 steal right here, and you get right back in this thing. Wichita State's selling out for that steal.
Tulsa's going to bring Idowu out of the game for free throw purposes.
Trap him.
Tulsa does have 3 timeouts left if they need it. They don't use it. They've handled this pressure pretty well.
Now you stay spread.
Got a foul here, right? 7-point game. And unfortunately, it was Etienne on the ball, and that's his 5th. And Wichita State had to foul, but Tulsa got it to the player that Etienne was guarding. And that's the end of the line for Tyson Etienne. "14 points on 5 of 16 shooting for Etienne. And for Tyson Etienne, a 3rd-team all-conference season. He was more of a marked man after his out-of-nowhere Conference Player of the Year last year. Conference Player of the Year season last year. And just a difficult up and down year for him, and a difficult up and down year for Wichita State after that magical run to the #1 seed in the NCAA tournament last year. It has not been the same for Etienne and these Shockers this year.
Yeah, going into this tournament, his last 10 games, he had been playing his best basketball of the season.
So Etienne is out of the game. Jenkins is in. Grant didn't do much. It's still a 3-possession game. Into Griffin. Punched away. Dennis with a steal. Oh, and that's the last thing you want to do if you're Tulsa. Dennis can make it a 4-point game with a potential 3-point play.
Sam Griffin does what freshmen often do. He's going to put the ball over his head. Once he puts the ball over his head, he's dead. That's a turnover waiting to happen. And then the bump and the finish by Dexter Dennis. Arms not straight up, arms extended a little bit. Official's going to make that call.
Foul was Haywood's 4th. Dennis makes it a 4-point game.
This could happen. This could happen. If you're not solid with the basketball and you put the ball over your head, good luck.
Drain returns for Idowu for Tulsa. Haywood will inbound. Haywood will get it to Drain, and Poto commits the foul. So now Ladavius Drain will go to the free throw line, and he's a great shooter, but he's a 3-point shooter. He's only 1 for 3 at the line all season. And he's going to hit some of the biggest free throws of his career.
I would venture a guess that regardless, he's better than Ray Idowu at the line. That's why Idowu was on the bench.
That ball changed its mind about 4 times in the air before dropping. And Drain does just that on the free throws.
And now Idowu comes in for defensive purposes. He did his job.
Wichita State can make this a 1-possession game with a 3. Grant will take it. No. Rebound deflected to Horn. Horn is fouled with 17.1 to go, and that might be all she wrote. Foul is on Jenkins, his first. Grant was in there. Would have been Grant's 5th, but Jenkins is tagged with it. Jariah Horn back to the line. His 154th college game today. Over 1,600 college points, and the Wichita State faithful look like they are headed for an early exit.
Yeah, there's an air of disbelief among the Wichita State fans, or disgust. I'm not sure which.
Council fouled by Idowu. Oh my goodness. Idowu's fouled out of the game, and Council can make it a 4-point game at the line with time stopped.
Still a chance. Still a chance. Why even challenge it?
Just let him score.
Just let it go. Look, Idowu went straight up, but he also extended his arms out just enough. And Ricky Council gets the call.
This has been an interesting final minute. 4-point game. And I think Frank Haith is going to use one of his 3 remaining timeouts. He is indeed. We'll be back in 30 seconds and see who survives the chaos of this final minute. .5 to go here at Dickies Arena. Feels like this game's been over about a half dozen times in the final 90 seconds. Wichita State will not go away even without Etienne. They need a steal down by 4. Horn will inbound for Tulsa. Gets it to Griffin.
Oh, he put over his head again.
We're going to get a foul called. Foul is called before Griffin lost the ball. So Griffin will shoot 2 more. Coming up tonight, assuming this game is over by then, 6 Central, 7 Eastern, UCF South Florida. John Schriff and Perry Clark will take over from here. And then the Women's Championship following on ESPNU, which is also UCF and South Florida, the top 2 seeds meeting in that game.
I can't pass up the teaching an opportunity.
Teach.
If you're a young player and you get trapped, do not put the ball above your head. It is a turnover waiting to happen. Square, be strong, head fake, shoulder slam, whatever. Don't put the ball above your head.
Has to be a 3 now for Wichita State in a 6-point game. Council 3, contact there, no foul. Rebound to Horn. Horn is tied up.